guest. He is the 3-time fittest in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, yeah, gotta call me on my accolades, man.
Yeah, we got to start it off with the biggest one. Going for a fourth, and we've got it coming up in about a month's time now. So, DEVRON WOODRUFF was part of our first ever fittest in Atlanta, one that talked about it on a previous podcast, but it's a workout that I designed. And we joked that it was a workout that was literally designed by me for me. And almost everybody else that did it hated it. So you came back. Luckily, we changed it to what now became DECA. And since then, been a little bit more accessible to everybody. And yeah, just been a little bit more fun, right? But before we get into that, tell me about you, Devron. Introduce yourself. What do you do all day when you're not being the fittest in Atlanta?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So like you said, DEVRON, Woodruff, just go by Dev, a lot of other things, but yeah, I'm in the whole youth development field. Been in that for a good minute. I mean, come from a family of educators, so been teaching since I was a student per se. So always loved kids, always loved Jesus, always loved athleticism, competition, physical nature things. And so, yeah, since I was a competent teenager, you know what I'm saying? I definitely had my foot in there growing up playing all types of sports, like random stuff too, like played racquetball, called it squash when I was in the fourth grade, golf, swimming.
Do me a
Uh,
favor. Do me a favor, Devron. I don't know. Something's going on. Just let's take your headphones out. Let's just try it without the headphones because the mic's it's doing something weird every time you stop speaking. But you might have to put them away now. Put them in the box or whatever, just because.
All right, how we sounding?
There we go. That sounds a bit cleaner. Yeah, it was doing
Okay.
some kind of popping sound after. But so going to what your day job is for us. We know you're a super athlete, but what is it that you do every day? Did you say?
Yeah, so youth development. So at this organization, big organization called City of Refuge. So right now the main job is program coordinating. So after school programming, out of school programming, summer camp programming for middle school and high schoolers. But then I'm me. I've always been a man of several pursuits. So I'm also do some side careers. Not really side. They're part of the main, but Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which is sports ministry. And then I'm also like youth pastor, youth director at my church, and cut hair on the side. You know what I'm saying? Clip people up time to time, but just yeah, all in that youth development field, man.
Nice. And how did you get into that? Was just from you seeing the impact of sports and stuff on you that you wanted to get kids active, or more, what age group are the kids too?
What is what?
What is the age group of the kids that you're
Oh,
working with?
it's mostly middle school and high school. That's kind of the impact area, just from life. You know what I'm saying? Middle school is definitely that impressionable to where they're building those serious habits. But then high school is just more relatable. You know what I'm saying? I started in high school, so peer to peer, and then just the smallest age gap between adulthood and teenagers is, you know what I'm saying? So it's that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just growing up in the neighborhood. So South Atlanta is literally what it's called, zip code 00315. Not too far from y'all.
Hmm.
It was just the mindset. Like when I was growing up, I'm born in '97, so as a later '90s baby, growing up in early 2000s, it was like outside was like what you did. Like whether you're walking around, whether you're finding a basketball to hoop on, whether or not you're playing pickup football, throw them up, bust them up. You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff. Playing 21. I know you hoop. You know what I'm saying? So 21 was second nature, no matter what. But ever since newer generation and COVID hit, it's like now it's like being outside and being active is an afterthought. Like people realize, or they believed, that they can just live life by just sitting down and chilling, like being behind the TV or on the couch. Like that was what first nature was. And being outside was almost detrimental to your health because of all the respiratory illnesses that would happen during COVID or whatnot. And so for me, I'm just like, my thing is, not only does everyone belong to fitness, like fitness should be like grocery shopping. Like everybody does it differently. They have different sources, But the idea is you got to do it consistently, and you got to find a way that suits you and your lifestyle. Like that, there shouldn't be any other argument besides that. Because even when I talk to people, it's like, oh yeah, last time I worked out was last month. I'm
Mm,
like, so in the last 30 days, not only do you think that working out only means the gym, but you didn't even give it a thought today that, yeah, I'm just gonna take a lap around the block. Like that's activity. Like, and like I've been told, you know what I'm saying, because of my size, I'm 6 foot, 230 pounds or whatever. When I talk about fitness, they look at it through what I've done. But I'm like, bro, riding a bike, doing Pilates, walking up and down the steps, taking a lap around the block, you know what I'm saying, from just doing stuff up and down your own steps. Like anytime you're up and your feet are not moving, I would call that exercise.
mm,
And I feel like it's got to start there before you're trying to be all these like influencers and athletes. And those are great goals to have, even if you have friends who do that. But it's like, what do you go to the grocery store? What do? You have a plan, you understand what you need, and then you get it done because you know it has to be done. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So,
Yeah. I mean, I see fitness personally, like you said, it's not, you don't want to see through my lens. It should be like brushing your teeth, right? It's just like you do some form of movement every day, no
mhm.
matter what, right? And I think we have a tendency too, because we work out so much, that like we only then work out at the gym and we don't see the value in, like, it's Sunday and you haven't done anything all day, go take a walk, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or literally just get up and move, or work from a standing desk instead of sitting down, or just
bro.
something
The
that
simple things.
you make it a lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's really cool that you saw that the effects over the last few years have been pretty insane. Like it's gone from, yeah, it was a little bit of a problem, to it's a complete mind shift change,
Mhm.
where our first thought, I didn't ever want to be in the house. Like you said, I was out playing basketball until the lights on the court got shut off.
Yeah, and even then, you still probably get some other type of light to do
You
something.
figure something out. Yeah. And that was every night. Right. And so, yeah, to see this shift, and then to know that like it affects your community a little bit more, because you might not have access to as many sports or programs going on. Right. So maybe you come up to Grant Park and there's a track, there's a soccer league, and it's every night that I see kids in the playground doing some form of like organized sports,
Yeah, yeah,
which maybe them programs are not as available, right? So it's cool that you saw that gap, and you want to make sure people are moving. So
yeah. I mean, it's yeah, because even as my kids, so I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old who turn 7 and 6 next year, and it's like they we are the best examples that they see. It's like if my my kids come to me and they're just like, you went to the gym again, or like, where are you going, to the gym again? It's
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm going again, just like I go to the grocery store again and I gotta brush my teeth again. It's like, and now it's come from like, oh, I see this is what my dad does all the time, and then the first question comes up is, can I go with you? And I'm like, why you want to go with me? Because I want to work out with you. So now it's just like, for a lot of people, fitness doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I'm clocked in, wake up at 5 a.m. It's like a ritual, but it's like it could be looked at as a way of to build relationship, and not just relationship with other people, but like it's not really thought of. But like working out because you're pushing your body to some sort of limit, like you're building a relationship with yourself.
right,
Like it's the whole mentality of you versus you. Like we all seen Rocky, you know what I'm saying? You versus you. Like it's only you against you. It's shadow box, whatever the case may be. It's like I'm building a relationship with myself. Like I'm like, bro, how well do I know my body? How well do I know my limits? Like today was a leg day at the gym, and like everybody. Well, usually people have a love hate relationship with leg day, and for me, like it got to the epiphany for me where it's like leg day for me is like the threshold for my like fitness journey. It's what I hate the most, but it's for my personal experience, it's what benefits me the most.
mm,
So being able to know that balance of like, this is the part of the week where I just have to do the discipline to help my body, in future tense. And then there's always room for fun. There's always room to like, I usually can lift a certain amount of weight, but today I may have had a long week. Maybe I just want to have fun. So I may not push my body to its limits, but I'm pushing my body in some type of way. And people will say, "Oh, you got to do more. You got to do it until you're struggling, until you almost pass out." Like, no, like today's the day where I just need to do something regular maintenance and be proud of myself in that and tell myself, "You did a good job, Dev. Like, go home, eat some food, carry on with your day." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but most of the days when I don't feel like I want to go and I don't want to do it are the days when sometimes I have the best workouts and
Yeah.
I feel better after. And then some of the
Yeah.
days when I'm like, oh, I'm ready, I show up and I've got nothing, and it's like, you never know once you get moving what you're going to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never regretted going and working out. I've never regretted going for a walk. I've never regretted, getting up and doing something. But I've regretted not doing it, and then it's too late, and then I'm like, oh man, I should have done
Yeah, so
something
you feel
today.
like you got to make up for it, then you overdo it, and then you do whatever. Like even for some of the folks that I call them like the gym testers who like come just to see. They're not even necessarily coming for a workout. They're just coming just to see what's going on. It's like I'm not even asking you to come and break a sweat. Like just wake up early and just show up for 10 minutes. Even if you just sit there and look at me, like just be there and see how it feels. Like just do one set of 10 reps on push-ups or bicep curl and just see how you feel. Like how you feel? Feel good? Want to go home? Not gonna hold you, but it's like all right. Now tomorrow, instead of doing one set, do 2 sets. You know what I'm saying? See how you feel. Because at the end of the day, even talking to some of my youth, like one of them just got motivated to really lead himself into fitness. You know, Noble Clay. So
Yeah,
City of Refuge has a Noble Clay spot on campus, and
yeah,
the City of Refuge also has a school for 4th to 12th graders, and so there's a lot of overlap and possibility. So, long story short, the kid's trying to lead himself and try to ask me advice about different workouts. I had him bring back to me the other day. I was like, tell me the difference between abdominal workouts and core. Because, people get that mixed up. You have a six pack, but you don't have a strong core. You have a strong core, don't have a six pack, all that type of stuff or whatever. And so coming back to me, you know what I'm saying? And just being able to, like when you're looking at the way you break down the time you spend in the gym, it shouldn't be maximum effort. At least my opinion to begin with, it should just be what is necessary for me to build some sort of consistency.
mm-hmm.
Like if you're just coming to do 5 push-ups, then 6 push-ups, and 7 push-ups, then for your fitness journey, for your relationship with yourself, job well done. You know what I'm saying? Then as you maybe get convicted, or if you seek inspiration, or if you research more, it's like, okay, now I understand the point of doing a push-up. Like I want to build more power for my chest. I want to look a certain way. I want to lift a certain thing. So now I know it's deeper than just doing push-ups. I have to take care of my upper body. I have to take care of my joints. And then you said, but that comes with your desire just to your desire to want to be a well-rounded, I guess, athlete, instead of just someone who just goes to the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, for me personally, like I wanted to be a professional basketball player most of my life, right? Like that's what drove me to get to where I am now. And people now ask me, do I want to go play pickup? Do I want to do these things? And I don't want to do that because I I know how vital working out every day is for my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So at 38 years old, I beat the hell out of my body. I
Mm-hmm.
know that working out every day makes me feel better physically, emotionally, everything. So if I go and I play basketball, which I love, I only know how to play it one way. It's all out, right? Like
Yeah.
there is no other way. So the risk of me getting injured and then not being able to train tomorrow isn't worth it for me now because I've got that routine like you talked about. And I don't have anything left to prove in that sport. I maxed out my potential over there. So anything I'm going to do now is just going to ruin the potential I have
Somewhere
in
else.
what
Yeah.
I'm doing now. And what
Yeah.
I'm doing now is I want to go hard at DECA because all them movements, I do them every day. And I know the risk to me of getting injured in DECA is slim to none with them movements. They're all pretty safe. They're all accessible. The worst thing I could do is drop a dumbbell on my toe. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that could possibly happen, personally, I feel, right? Because I train all these movements every day. And there's nothing where I'm all out sprinting or I'm all out, like I'm just in a zone and I can improve that zone and I can get better. And then that now is accessible to more people. I can go and I can be an inspiration to maybe a couple of people at basketball now, right? Like But in the fitness world, I can show that at 38, you're not done. Your goals are not over. You can still get better. And I'm getting better every day in some aspect of fitness, even at 38, right? It's not like I'm over the hill. So, like, it's finding them little challenges that you can, just by being you and doing what you're doing, you don't have to tell somebody what to do, right? I always found showing people the right way to do something and being consistent and always being the consistent person is way more valuable than telling somebody what to do and telling them how to do it, right?
For sure.
And I feel like that's why you are such a inspiration in what you do, is because you are that person, right? You're not at the back trying to push people. You're at the front saying, "Come on,
Come with me, yeah.
get on."
Yeah.
If you don't want to get on it, it's fine. But this is where we're going. And like I said, you've been with us at this Fittest in Atlanta thing from day one. You showed up to one that was a random workout that I made up. You got through it. You won it. You'd never done most of them movements before, but you were just open to trying something new, right? And so, like, how do you help other people be open to that, do you think? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a coin phrase from like social media about just like gym maturity or whatever. And I used it one time in the gym and they were like, "Oh, look at you on your influencer game or whatever." But I was just like, yeah, it's a certain point. Like training with me, um, yeah, I the way that I view fitness is like it's always my journey. At least is just like I love just to trying new things and knowing that it may work, it may not work. And because I used to be like, I guess when I really started for real fitness journey, when I was like 21 in college, it was like I was booked. I was uh same cycle every
bodybuilding.
month.
It was bodybuilding, right? You just want
Yeah,
to
you know what I'm saying? I was on that type of stuff because that's what I thought I needed to get the goal that I desired. Because then I was just trying to look a certain way physique wise. It was never about. I was still eating, or I was eating full pizzas like three, 4 times a week. And granted, metabolism was high. I was running like seven
Yeah, but
miles like
you
every other
you were
day.
just calling it bulking, right? You were
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I'm bulking, it's fine. And really, you were just eating like crap and
I'm
working
saying,
out. Yeah.
yeah, and it was slimming off because of younger age or whatever. But yeah, like when I'm in the gym and the lens that I have of my journey now is patience. Like it
Mm,
used to be to where like, bro, if I'm not repping 225 on bench, if I'm not squatting 315, and if I'm not deadlifting 400, then like I'm not good enough because
mm.
of the standards that other people put upon me. But then at the end of the day, like we make this joke every time on a Friday. We was like, all right, 1 week down, 50 more years to go. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love
Because at
it.
the end of the goal, I'm trying to be a 90-year-old athlete. Like that's my goal. So if I'm trying to be a 90-year-old athlete, is my goal to be the strongest in the world, or is my goal for longevity? And so
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to get people to understand is like when you're hopping onto the fitness journey, you're not trying. I don't want you to try to be the strongest person in the world. If you're going to be a bodybuilder, trying to go to these Mr. Olympia competitions, that's a whole nother. That's not even my wheelhouse. Don't even try to come to me for advice. But if you're saying that I want to feel better, I want to look better, and I want to live longer, then let's start talking about those type of ways. And it starts with understanding not only where you're at with your physique and then like different type of conditions that you may have, but it's like let's start with the basic realities of like what are the things that you want to do when you're 90. That's how I position. Like, do you want to be able to lift yourself up? Do you want to be able to bend down and touch your toes? Do you want to be able to play with your great grandkids? Do you want to be able to, like, we all do when we're parents, you throw your kids up and catch them? Do you want to be able to do those things? Okay, so that means I need to, or even like talking about now, like as a man, leader of my house, leader of my family, it's like if there's an emergency, I tell people all the time, they're like, why you want to lift so heavy? Because if my family is in danger, my wife weighs a certain amount. My kids, I know I'm not going to tell them what she weighs. My kids weigh 50 pounds and about 40 pounds. So I need to be able to carry this amount of weight in case of an emergency. So I need to make sure by the end of my month, as long as I can carry this amount, then that's my goal because I want to be, what I'm saying, those type of things.
Yeah.
But it
But
starts with
next time somebody asks you that, don't say because I might have to lift up my wife. Don't start there. It's a terrible.
for facts.
You'll get in
So
trouble.
it's yeah, it's just like being able to like walking every day consistently, like being able to curl things, being able to hinge, being able to squat, being able to lift yourself up, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things. And then once those, like you said, those functional movements are down, then we can add some icing to the cake. You know what I'm saying? Then we can go more. Then we can, now that our tendons and our muscles and our muscle memory and all that stuff is kind of connecting, then we're more prone not only to not injure ourselves, but we can add on to it instead of just like, today I'm gonna try to bench 400 when I haven't actually consistently done anything close to that for the last couple of years. I just want to prove a point.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not the master of anybody's physique or biology or any of that type of stuff. I'm just going off of the fact that I want to be an athlete. I want to be running 100-yard dashes when I'm 90.
Yeah.
And so then I go off from there because life is unpredictable. So for me, I tell them, that's like, well, make sure you throw in unpredictable movements when you're doing things. Like, don't just take everything to be robotic. Like, sometimes you got to pick some stuff off the floor. Sometimes you got to jump up and get stuff. Sometimes you got to bend sideways. Sometimes you got to throw stuff over your back uncomfortably. So let's prepare our body for those type of things for
Yeah.
longevity. So
I love it, man. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, when we were talking about the pandemic earlier, like when that hit, I was like, people used to say, what are you guys training for, the apocalypse? You know? And then I looked in the gym, and we'd been training so hard that there was barely any people that were at risk, right? Like, they were just going to get a cough and then they'd be right back to training because they've trained their lungs and they've trained their heart, and they got rid of any like type 2 diabetes, or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're protecting themselves. And like you said, you never know what's going to come. And as the man and the leader of the house, you want to be able to say, get on my back. Let's go. I got you.
Yeah, even to that point, like and I always say it with knock on wood because, I mean, anything can happen to anybody at any point. But it's like, I'm not one who gets sick. Like, I can get like a stuffy nose here and there because of a fan's blowing in my face, or if I'm sweating, I'm cold outside, whatever. But I mean, aside from like I've gotten food poisoning before for eating something bad, like I've got COVID before, like all the random things. But it was like you said, but that recovery, it's like I'm not sitting there wallowing in the bed, but it's like I'm able, because of how I've been building myself, not also physically, but internally. But it's just like, now I'm able to weather that storm without like my life going into shambles. Or like, even if I am feeling a bit under the weather, like, who says you can't still exercise while you're feeling under the weather? You just won't exercise the same way.
Right.
Like, instead of me going outside when it's 30 degrees and I have a stuffy nose, well, bro, I'm gonna walk my steps 50 times in a controlled environment where it's warmer, where I have, you know what I'm saying? And then it's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But the conversation is, oh, I'm under the weather, I'm gonna skip the gym today. If you're under the weather, would you skip grocery store? Would you skip drinking water? Would you skip, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, they have to be.
And I mean, they're all the physical things, which in my opinion, that's the tip of the iceberg, right? The rest of the thing is life, right? And emotionally, and like, life's going to hit you in the face. It might not be your health, but if I know every day the hottest time of my day is in the gym, and someone's saying, hey, one more rep, and even in my mind, I'm saying, man, you're too tired, and I do 5 more reps. Oh, you're too tired, and I do 10 more reps. Then whatever comes up in life, hey, one more rep.
Yeah,
okay,
you realize
get
you're
back
capable
up.
more than you believe.
That inner strength, right? And I think that's what we've started doing, a team program. And I think that's what I'm more excited about when I work with teens, is seeing them find that strength, seeing them find that inner strength, and seeing like their shoulders. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of our kids, their shoulders are like this a lot, right? And you get to see slowly their chest stick out, because they're like, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm capable of doing these things that I've never done before, and no one showed me before. And it's really cool. And I mean, that's what I would like to do. And that's what we're going to talk about, is like, DECA came along, and for me, it leveled the playing field to make it so much more accessible. That first workout you did was not accessible to everybody. Most people wouldn't be able to get through it. It's the first time I think I've ever seen anybody quit a workout. Not you, but those people that quit. Now we've got this one that there's a start line where you don't have to go out of town. It's literally happening in our gym, right? We want to get as many people to this start line and to that finish line to get a medal around their neck and want to come back and beat their own time as we can, right? That's the only reason I'm doing this. Like, it hasn't made money. It hasn't, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we'll do this and we'll be rich. That's not the goal. The goal is that most people can't spend a whole weekend and go and travel to somewhere in Florida or North Carolina.
Chicago marathoners, whatever.
Yeah, most people don't have them resources, but our gym's literally in Grant Park. We could, if we can, let's get as many people through this. Let's get as many people to a start line as we can with movements that are accessible and movements that, yes, some of them might not be able to do it, but we'll find a way for you to get through it so you can come back next time and try and do it the full way, or just give you that goal that now when you go in the gym, you're not just going in the gym and you're, I guess I got to work out today. Deck is coming. And,
Exactly. Yeah.
It's coming twice this year. So I can test myself at the start of the year, test myself at the end, and I get a medal, and I get a T-shirt, and I get to be around people. And,
camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me what your plan is here. Tell me what the project is. How are we going to try and get as many people to this start and finish line as we can?
Yeah. So for our neighborhood, I'm on the Civic League board, which is basically like a more collaborative, like HOA almost. Like people who live there, they come together trying to build rapport, trying to build connection, trying to build accessibility, all types of things for the community. And so our predecessors who were leading got connected with a grant with American Heart Association and partly with the NFL a little bit, but just on that term of just community collaboration, health and wellness. And so we got a grant when part of it is to get people accessibility to fitness. So like that's where the easy finances come in. But the other big essence of it is just like, you can go faster alone or you can go farther together. And it's just like the generational wealth when it comes to fitness and health, I feel like should be emphasized as we talk about generational wealth when it comes to finances. Like the idea of, we have this one lady in our neighborhood who actually is a former Olympian, well, actually current, because she competes in the older age of the Olympians and whatnot. I believe she's like 70, maybe close to that or whatnot. But yeah, but she actively walks with a partner like 3 miles around the neighborhood almost every morning. And I'm like, passing that on to other people, is that like, does that generational wealth, health and fitness wealth or whatnot that can continue to go? And so doing something like this, because I mean, the biggest part I stress is just like, do y'all know what functional fitness is? Like, because people come to me and it's like, oh, Dev is doing a comp. It's got to be something crazy. Like, no. Like, I tell them, I was like, do a squat. Pick this up for me. Go tie your shoes real quick. Yeah, pick this up and carry it down the street. Or do you carry groceries? You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is stuff that we do, but obviously it's adapted slightly because it's weightlifting and whatnot, or it's a workout. But it's like all these things are things that you have or can do easily. And so the mindset is, how great would you feel if you're not only just able to compete, but you're able to put yourself, like you said, on a level playing field that affirms your ability to try something new and more motivation to try it and master it even better. Because again, I can't stress how much that like you can get yourself hurt trying to do all these advanced, because there are some people that I work with, they think that like I guess the rinse and repeat of seeing so many influencers do movements, they think that all this stuff can just be done randomly. Like no, like their body has adapted and or they prepare before they come to the show. But for the DECA with the functional fitness, it's like, bro, like I can pull you in here. We do a 15-minute warm up and you'll be fine to compete. And how great is it if we're not only you're doing it and completing it, but bro, we're doing it together. Because like at the end of my last video, when my brother was recording and made the content, it was like when I was there with my kids, and I was like, I said it on my video, like I'm like my kids and my wife are my inspiration, because when I'm done, I want that, like, bro, perfect dream is my kids are 6 and 7. 6 years from now or 7 years from now, my kids are doing the DECA team, bro. That would be like tears in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And being able to have that same energy with all the people that I know, like my mom, like my brothers, like my grandma, my aunties, you know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff. And then boom, you have this movement to where now people are less focused on competition with each other and they're focused on competing together. And at the end of the day, the prize vision in my brain is that like if I'm competing, right, I'm competing and I'm doing, bro, what's the worst? What was the most difficult part? I think it was the transition from, I think it was the med ball cleans to maybe the sled. But it was like when I'm pushing and I'm pulling it back and I'm leaning back and I'm looking over my family, I'm like, okay, boom, I know that I can try to find this motivation within myself, or I'm just like, bro, that's my motivation right there. Like the other people that are supporting me, that are doing it together. So it's just like being able to take this competition and like I said, form it into a like a movement, I guess you could say, into a movement. Because again, I'm not, again, when I'm competing in November, like my goal isn't just to beat my time, but it's like, can I beat the amount of people that I'm bringing in? Can I beat the amount of people that I'm sharing my like mindset on fitness, like the healthy ways in order to do things? Like, am I beating my goal? And like, now all of a sudden, I'm no longer there to compete with myself. Like now, I'm pushing myself, like you said, to lead from the front, to be like, I'm not just doing this just because I want to look strong, or I want to, you know what I'm saying, win my own medal. But it's like the more times this happens, is the hope is that the more this can be just like the standard. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like the love. Like even looking at this video right there, when I look pass down right there, bro, when I pass out, I'm just like, bro, my kids, and I'm like, bro, doing it for y'all. Because pretty soon, I don't know, it would be great to see those two, you know what I'm saying, competing together. Yes, they're competing against each other because it's a time situation, but I'm like, bro, if they're working together and then they pass it on to their kids, and then I'm a grandfather and now I'm competing with my son, bro, that's crazy to think about. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, man, that's cool. And also, like, there's something in this where where do you think it comes from that they're very like white sports, right? Like CrossFit, hybrid racing now, DECA style stuff. It's very white, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
it that some people think maybe, oh, that's just like crazy white people stuff, that they're gonna do something crazy, but then you go to it and you're like, actually it's just functional fitness, we could all do it, like there's no, or maybe it's just like, hey, we just want to get a big muscle, big chest, we just want to lift weights. Like, where do you think that comes from, that it's not as
Like diverse, you're
yeah,
saying? Or more, yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, we could go back and just like talk about just like the disparities, or just like the gaps in accessibility. But at the same time, it's, man, I just got to bring it back to like, what are the examples in the environment? You know what I'm saying? Because there are kids
because
that
the
I know
examples
who are
are
like,
football, basketball, you know what I mean, it's all the sports, right?
yeah, like,
And not many of these guys are, more and more are training functional fitness,
mhm,
but not as many, right? So yeah.
yeah, and it's yeah, it's like I know some kids who are like, they work out and they're like can do push ups, sit ups, pull ups, like the basic type of movements, but yeah, the reality of working out, especially speaking to my community, like it's just related to sports. You know what I'm saying? It's related to an actual game, instead of just like this, bringing it back to the simplicities of stuff. And then you add to the fact of just like, yeah, just being able to see beyond what's labeled. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's usually people do things either because they have some type of internal motivation to try, or because they know somebody that does it. And
Right.
if I were to go around and knock on people's doors, like some of the people that I know who grew up in this neighborhood, in this culture, and they would say, "Oh yeah, who you know that competes in games or CrossFits, or who you know that works out at an actual gym besides Planet Fitness or YMCA?" It's like, yeah, like probably counting on one of my hands, if that. But
Right.
then if I go to some of my guys that are white, who they probably been to plenty of, I don't even know the names of CrossFit gyms now, because they're just all over the place or whatever. But it's like, yeah, I've been here, there, whatever. And
Right.
so just the context of the environment. But then they'll also say, yeah, like my boys used to do it, or like my dad used to do this, or like my cousin used to do this. But for folks that I know who are black, it's more so just the basketball. Let's go to the football field. Let's go to that. But again, when you come down to it, it's like, it's functional fitness, and even the mindset. Like I remember last year when I
Well,
did.
I know a lot of guys that like played basketball,
Mm,
and I feel like they look at, like, one of my friends, I was just at a tailgate and it was all his family were there, and they're like, "Oh, he's a beast. He trains so hard." And they were all former athletes. They could come and do it, but there's something stopping them coming in and instead going and just doing like bench press and bicep. There's some like gap that like
Like
he
it's
can do it, but I'm
aesthetics.
not gonna do it. You know, it's
Yeah.
strange.
I think it's the aesthetics. Like even I have a friend of mine who wants to train, but he's just like on major muscle move, like major muscle groups. So he's just like bench, shoulder press, deadlift, squats. You know what I'm saying? All that was up because again, at the end of the day, even with my like social media feed or even other folks I know, it's like you see all the people that explain movements, but bro, like they're jacked. You know what I'm saying? Like they're ripped and they're insane. And you think, oh yeah, if I bench press for a couple years, I'll get like them. But obviously, it's way more complicated than that.
Mhm.
And so they're just going after this mindset of like not only because like you want to show what you've been doing, and the way that it can show is by you thinking that I just got to stick to these aesthetically pleasing movements. Because I mean, it's don't get me wrong, like sitting up there under a bench and repping, like it feels good because it's a. I mean, I'm not even just saying it's a manly thing. It's just like a strong thing to do, like getting under a barbell and squatting. Like if you just pushing up, you know what I'm saying? And
Well,
and
it's
you get
where
the
we are. It's where most men fell in love with weightlifting, right? Like
yeah,
on the bench press. It's
yeah.
where I did. My chest hasn't grown since I was 15, but it's where I fell in love with lifting weights and that feeling and the pump and all that goes with it.
I
And
mean,
then
to
go
even
ahead.
ask you, like, I think it's a fair thing because it's something I go back and forth with different people. But it's like the idea of actually people who are very much well in shape, but they may not look like it based upon influence. Because I mean, you can. I would love for you to talk about that. Like, yes, definitely in shape, bro. Like you said, crushed it on all platforms. But it's like if I were to put you up to even like a guy that I work out with who like has good genetics, but he does work out and he just looks ripped. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
bro, I can. We can all do dances around you when it comes to competition stuff, but
Right.
it's like, looks
Right.
versus feel versus ability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, my thing is, like you said, when you look at social media and look at influence, the only thing that I see is people lying about how you get somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get to all these places, and there's a ton of shortcuts to
Mm-hmm.
get there, right? And most people are taking them shortcuts. But when you get on that line of DECA, if you're not strong, fit, and ripped, then we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll find out really
So,
quick, right? And that's what I like is just I've done a triathlon this year. I'm the strongest I've ever been, and you know what I mean. And I'm gonna beat you at DECA in a couple of weeks. So like you might be able to bench press more than me, but that's just the way you know what I mean. And it's all about just like having that. That's my competition now, and that's where I have fun. But I'm not gonna chase um, a goal that I don't think is real. And I see a lot of fake stuff online, and fake is the new cool apparently. But we grew up in a time when it was real, and you had to show it, and you had to prove it. You couldn't be a professional athlete on social media. You had to actually go and step on a professional court, and somebody had to pay you money, and you had to be a pro. You couldn't just put it in your bio and go and play at the church league. That
yeah.
wasn't the way it was when we grew up, right? You
Speaking,
had
bro.
to go and
Yeah.
show it. And like there's a lot of fake pros around. There's a lot of fake natural training people.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't care because me
Yeah.
and you can sense when something's real or not, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And the good thing about Decker is it's real. You're going to stand on a start line and you're going to go through it and it's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to quit. You won't. You'll get to the finish and you'll want to come back and do it again, right? And like the more people we can get through it, the better. It's great that, we're going to work together on getting people through it with the foundation and stuff like that. And I'm going to see what I can do with DECA, see if they can offer a way to make it easier for people to sign up and things like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing I'm trying to do more and more is just like, is the explanation, you know what I'm saying? Like layman's terms, because even sometimes people don't even know what I'm talking, like a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about when I say if I say, oh yeah, med ball clean, but versus I'll just say, yeah, you're just picking up something heavy and throwing it over your shoulders. It's like, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. And then even explaining like the whole competition itself is
Yeah.
just like, people put themselves in someone else's shoes when you start describing it instead of just like, no, like like, you know how to bend down and pick something up. Like, you know how to step over something. You know how to carry things. It's like, how dope would it be if you did it in a pumped up environment and you earn like your trophy for, you know what I'm saying, that affirms you and your ability to push yourself. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And like in the worst case scenario, I'll say worst case scenario, you do it, you hate it. Best case scenario, do it, you love it. I mean, I feel like those are, you know what I'm saying, good opportunities because you step foot in the room and you get to do. And the thing, like, and it's obviously it's easier said than done, but it's like I tell them every time, like, when you go there, like, especially even when I step in Oxford, it's just like there's no such thing as embarrassment. Like, that's not even like a word. I don't even know that's even in the dictionary anymore as far as y'all's word choice, because like you go there and you try and you ask for help if you need, and if whether or not it's like, did you lay yourself out there to compete, to do what you're trying to do? And if you did, amen. If you tried and it didn't work, still amen. Because we're here to try. We're
Yeah.
here to be on different levels, but we're still trying to go after the same thing, which is being functionally fit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's crazy to say it, right? Like we both sounds like the thing that we like most is seeing people fail, right? And people might think that's kind of sick in a way, but I want to see what you do when you fail. I want to see when everything's not in your favor, you're in an uncomfortable environment. Who are you in that situation, right? And there's only two types of people I've ever met. There's the people that work harder and don't give up, and then there's the people that just say, it's too much, and they back away, you know?
Yeah, facts.
And I only want to be around the first kind of people. Like, I only want them people in my circle because eventually shit's going to get hard. Eventually times are going to get tough. And I want to know my crew are like, oh, it's hard? Okay, well, we're going
Yeah,
to do it anyway.
love
Yeah.
it. Like, it's hard. Like, it's a stressful day. Like,
Yeah.
awesome. Like, you know what I'm saying? 3 types of people. Like, you even said 2 types of people, and like I was in a what was it? One of my like, forget where I was at. But anyway, the dude was telling me, we were talking about the Bible, all this type of stuff. And he was like, it was a verse he was talking about, but 3 types of people that are about to go into a storm, people that are in a storm, people that are headed out of a storm. So it's like, regardless, there's gonna be a storm, bro. So it's like you said, if we're in a storm, it's like, bro, am I just trying to sit there and cry, or am I gonna power through it? If I'm about to head into one, am I gonna run the other way? Or when I'm done with the one, am I like, oh my gosh, I never wish I experienced that again? Or knowing that like you did this DECA and it's like it was super tough, it's like, bro, I can't wait to the next storm. I can't wait to the next comp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you read that? That's Keith. He said he was in the same.
Yeah, what up, Keith? Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
So we have a camp on Saturday. Shoot, I should know what time it is. We got a camp this Saturday, so you're welcome to bring any of your people that want to come and check it out. 9 a.m. in Grant Park. So anybody who's interested, come along to that. What we're going to do is we're going to break the DECA down into 3 different zones and then work through them zones, working on technique, getting you comfortable with every piece of equipment that you're going to get to use, and giving you some tips and tricks of like what's the best way to move things or the best way to work or seat positioning, just little things that'll help when you get there that you're not overwhelmed, and being able to just see it, right? And be able to see all the movements and know that you can do them all, which is what you'll get from it, right? You might not do them as fast as DEVRON, but you'll get through them, right? So
yeah, my biggest annoyance was my biggest annoyance all the time is the foot straps with the row machine, bro. No matter how many times I practice, I never get it right.
it just catches the heel, and you're
Yeah,
like,
I know,
pull.
yeah. But it's one of those things too where it's like the practice doesn't mean that it's gonna be perfect. It just more so means that you're prepared for how it can go either way. Because
Right.
I think it was the last one or the one before last where it's like my foot kept like kind of having a gap, so when I was pulling, it was coming space. But I was like, man, forget it. I'm just gonna rock it out anyway, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do it anyway,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you learn in the heat of competition, right? Is like things are not gonna go perfect, and that's what I love about competing, right? If we just looked at paper and was like, DEVRON can bench press this, Ant can bench press this, DEVRON can run a mile this fast, Ant can run a mile, and we just went, well, DEVRON wins, oh, Ant wins because he can do. No,
Don't work like
we're gonna find out.
that.
And there's only one way to find out. Something's going to go wrong for you. Something's going to go wrong for me. And one of us is going to deal with it. One of us is going to pace it wrong. One of us is going to get, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it's cool. But one thing that's guaranteed is neither of us are going to quit.
Yeah, that's
right?
for sure.
And we just know that about ourselves.
Oh,
And I know if I'm in a heat with you and I'm ahead of you, I can't let up because I don't know.
yeah,
It's still
exactly.
coming. All
And
right.
even,
That's
yeah,
cool. That's what you get to know about people from watching them do fitness. And that's why we want to get as many people to this as we can. So this Saturday, 9 a.m., everybody's welcome to come and do the DECA camp, and we'll get you comfortable with it. And then November 16th is the day.
save the date.
This year, you're going to do it November 15th.
Yeah, I got to do it with the big boys and
We're
girls.
going to do
Yeah.
it November 15th and bring people to come and watch. We'll make it a little event. We're going to try and live stream it too, which I think
Oh,
will be
that's
sick.
sick. Yeah, that's sick.
Getting Lucas on the case. And then Saturday, then you can help people. If you've got a lot of people coming, right? You won't have to worry about competing. You can help people get
It'll
through.
be more morale and all
Be
that
more
type
of a coach. Yeah, be more of a
Yeah.
coach. And then eventually, as it gets big, we can do your team against my team or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's I remember
Right?
I did to you a while ago of like with my gym Fit Squad and then
Yeah.
shout out to Fit Squad, and then Noble Clay and then Oxford. I was like, I had this dope idea that's still sitting in my idea folder of like having athletes from each division, age group, whatever, pair up with a different athlete from a different gym. So
That'd be
like
cool.
1-1-1, and then they're on a team against
Yeah.
other people from the same thing. And I'm just like, that's the idea of just like vision and generational wealth and with health and just like camaraderie and community, bro. Like that would be incredible.
I love it. We're gonna make it happen one competition at a time. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
all right, dude. That's 46 minutes. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
It's awesome catching up with you. And am I gonna see you this Saturday? Will you be able to make it Saturday? Or
Yeah, I'm doing all the schedule and stuff right now to make sure I'm pulling up. I'm trying to get other people because like you said, they're just like, they as soon as you tell them about it, they're like, well, are you going too? I'm like, why does that have to matter? But I gotta support, what I'm saying? I need to support as people get their foot in the door. So yeah, finishing these last texts and just kind of continue to have conversations with people because again, I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be fun,
Yeah.
energetic, fulfilling time, man. I want everybody to partake in that, bro. So appreciate Oxfit for starting, paving the way, man, so that we all can get upon this, man. That's the hope.
Let's keep making it bigger.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you, and I'll see you on Saturday.
So, man, peace, man.
Thanks, Steve. All righty, the 3-time fittest in Atlanta is coming back for another stab at it. This year we're gonna have, because the event's got so much bigger. We're gonna have most of our people who are volunteering the next day. Most of our coaches will go the day before because we have so much set up with the amount of athletes that are coming through it now. The first time we did it, we had 30 athletes, the first fittest in Atlanta. And let me bring that up so you can see it. First fittest in Atlanta. And DEVRON finished on the podium. Nope, that's not it. He finished on the podium that year. And that was 2022. Share that. So that was 2022, and we had 2 divisions, and I think we had about 20 people go through it at most. Then 2023, we got to around 50, and I'm hoping this event will be somewhere around 100 people. So tell your friends, tell your family, come and do it. It's for everybody. And that was the first one. And then I think we have a podium of the second one. There he is. I'm getting a little better with this, a little quicker. There was the second one. And so, yeah, we have some fun with the podium, and then we give out awards for spirit because it's not all about who wins. For us on the night before, it's going to be a little bit about who wins. We're going to go hard. But the next day is about everybody doing their best. And that's what DEVRON's all about. And I'm so grateful that he came to that first event. I think it was Lucas invited him, and he just came straight in and I hadn't seen most of the movements. I'd made up a crazy workout, and he absolutely crushed it. And then now to see what it's become and how it's way more accessible and way more fun. I love it. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I hope you worked out today, or as DEVRON was talking about, just get outside, move, do something, get up, stand at your desk, and do 2 push-ups, whatever it is, get moving. And we'll see you Saturday at DECA Camp, or we will see you on November 16th for the DECA Strong.